all about the fun. Tryna be the one, not another bum. So, fantasy football tips. Probably win one, maybe 2 or 3 ships. Oops, I met Hun. Eli is the one. Tyler makes the sum. Belowski and it's done. Woo!
And this is the Tyler and Eli Fantasy Football Tips Podcast, Season 3, Episode 40. I am your host, Tyler Belowski.
I'm your other host, Eli Belowski.
And guys, what an amazing opening theme song. Eli, that was awesome. Bumping, it's sweet. I love it.
Yeah, I love it. It's not really a rap, but it's a good song.
It's a great song, and we thank you so much, Gabe Gearing, for doing that for us. He produced that, wrote it, and it was awesome. You can find Gabe at FFManBun on Twitter. He also is one of the hosts for the Open Bar FP. So check those guys out. Again, Gabe Gearing is awesome. It's a sick opening. We also have a new logo. So when you go to find us on YouTube, it just says same thing. Tyler and Eli Fantasy Football Tips Podcast, just a little better, a little tweaked it out a little bit. So it's pretty sweet.
Yeah, it's a real good logo made by Tyler.
Yeah, so tonight we're going to be going over the NFC preview, fantasy football relevant players. Before we do that, we're going to get into our nines, which is news, info, notes, emails, and stats. And that's presented by the DraftingSleepers.com. It's a social networking website. You can post your podcast, which we do. Twitter, you can put in polls, questions, just have a chat. There's football, baseball, basketball, golf, all your fantasy sports there in one website. It's a great guy. Those guys are great. We are second year with them, teaming up with them, so thank you guys so much. DraftingSleepers.com. We didn't have a podcast last week, Eli.
Yeah, we were in Connecticut visiting with family, so we tried to get it done, but it just overlapped. All the events overlapped.
Yeah,
and
we had
get
some computer problem, but we're going to double up this week. We're going to do our podcast tonight. You hear it whenever you hear it, and then we'll have one midweek before I head off to Dallas, Texas for the National Fantasy Football Convention, and we'll talk more about that next week when we do our mock draft, probably Wednesday or Thursday of next week.
Yeah.
But again, back to our nines. We only have one tonight. Aaron Jones, running back for the Green Bay Packers, Eli, is suspended for 2 games, the first 2 games of the season. He got caught doing some drugs, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm not really surprised. You know, a lot of players these days are doing drugs just to make themselves be better. But if you're in the NFL, then you should already be good. So
yeah,
I don't see the reason to take drugs. PEDs.
It's a different. Yeah. Either way, it's not good. It's not good at all. But yeah, that's only nice time, and we'll talk a little bit more about him when we get into our preview. So Eli, let's get right into our previews. We're going to head over to the NFC East. And you're going to kick us off with the defending Super Bowl champs, Philadelphia Eagles. Who do you got first up? The quarterback, Carson Wentz.
All right, so Carson Wentz, he got injured, tore his ACL, week 15, I believe.
Right around there, yeah. 15.
Against, I forgot who. But anyways, Nick Foles came in with the backup and won the Super Bowl for him. I'm still drafting Carson Wentz, obviously, as your quarterback 1, somewhere around the 5th round. If you want to reach for him in the 4th round, I don't see why not, but I'd just wait until the 5th round for him.
Yeah, he's definitely a solid quarterback. He's going to come back. He says he's ready for week 1 action with an ACL, so it's going to be good. And yeah,
I just hope he doesn't tear it again, because that just really stink.
Yeah, luckily they have Nick Foles to back up, so maybe if you draft 2 quarterbacks, pick up Nick Foles, just in case.
Yeah, maybe. In like a 12-team draft. Next is Jay Ajayi, starting running back. He's going to be like an 8th round type of guy. He's not. I want to draft him earlier than the 7th round, if anything. But 8th round seems to be where he's fallen, and I'm not going to draft him early unless he's like the only guy there. But yeah, he's a solid. He's a week 2 solid flex, and if you can get him on your bench, that's a steal. Because in mock drafts I've been getting him on the bench, some of them. So that's really a steal if you get him on the bench.
Exactly. He's going to be a great bye-week filler type running back. I mean, like Eli said, he's a week number 2, depends on how your draft styles. And he's slowly creeping up the boards a little bit. But again, we're giving you our advice and where we would take them. So anywhere after the 7th, 8th round would be ideal. However, I have seen earlier this week he went as early as a 6th. That's a little high.
That's a little early for me. I mean, I know he's a beast mode, but just because he has the passing game around him, they're not going to rely on the run too often, especially with Carson Wentz back in.
Yeah, he does have one good advantage. He has a full season now, off season with the team. Unlike last year, he came in through a trade, so he didn't really know the playbook. They scripted plays just for him, but now they have a full off season to get him into the playbook. Who do you got next, Eli?
Corey Clement. He's going to be no earlier than the 12th round. He's going to sit on your bench, and I really think there are better running backs to draft. But if he's there in like the 14th round for like your last bench player, then I'm going to take him.
Yeah, he's one of those guys. If you have a deep bench, you can get him. Or if Jay Ajayi goes down in the preseason, but I'm not drafting Corey Clement at all.
Yeah, I mean he does catch a lot. He's like that third down running back for him, but I really don't think they're gonna have a lot of third downs this year, honestly.
Yeah, and with Darren Sproles back there too, coming back, he's the kind of a third down specialist too. So between Sproles and Clement, I would just stay away from both of them.
Yeah, I mean don't even pick up Sproles.
Yeah.
Next, the wide receivers, Alshon Jeffrey. Anywhere after the 4th round is a steal. He's an okay 2, definitely a solid flex. He's just gonna get so many targets this year from Carson Wentz. And then Nelson Aguilar, he's just a bye week filler. He'd be a great asset on your bench, though. He's going to get a lot of targets because the Eagles are going to be all about that passing game this year.
I completely agree with that, and I wish I could remember who had this stat. I can't remember who said it, but actually Jeffrey and Aguilar had pretty close to the same amount of targets and catches last year. I think just Aguilar, because his history says that he's not that great of a receiver, I would keep him on your bench for a bye week filler. Though you and I talked about it earlier this week, he is starting to creep on our boards a little bit, but keep right on no later than 8 and 9.
Yeah, no earlier than that.
You would have to you would have to go really heavy running back to have him as your number 1.
Yeah, and like Aaron Rodgers type quarterback, something like that.
Yeah.
And then the tight end Zach Ertz, anywhere from the 4th to 5th round as a tight end number 1, obviously. He's just gonna get so many targets again. All those 3 targets are gonna get so many targets.
Yeah, and even if Nick Foles comes in, Zach Ertz won't skip a beat because Nick Foles would definitely hit the tight end.
Yeah, backup quarterbacks seem to really like the tight end.
Yeah, it's just I think we'll talk about this.
I think it's just because they're more reliable and they're like a bigger target, I guess.
Exactly, the nice check down, and we'll definitely get more into that tight end talk later this season. Probably have our tight end specialist Bill King on to talk about more tight ends. He loves the tight ends, and we'll talk about that more. All right, moving on to the Dallas Cowboys. All right, moving on to the New York Giants. No, Dallas Cowboys. You have Dak Prescott as the quarterback. I'm not going to be drafting Dak Prescott this year. Mm-hmm. I on Twitter, I put out my quarterback rankings probably early May. I had him as the last quarterback.
Of 32?
Of 32. He has he has no wide receivers. Yeah, he can run. They have a great offensive line, but who's he going to throw to? Exactly. So, I mean, if you have a flex, if you guys play super flex with 2 quarterbacks, sure, he'd be a great number 2.
Or like a streamer if you're desperate.
If you're into streaming, yep. So stream him, I guess, but that's about it. Running back Zeke Elliott, obviously he's a top 5 pick, number 1 running back in the league.
I don't know. Wait, number 1 running back in the league?
Well, he's an RB1, I should say. Le'Veon Bell.
Yeah, Le'Veon, then David Johnson, then him.
We'll do that with our running back show. But yeah, he's an RB1, definitely draft from top 5.
Yeah.
Wide receivers, Allen Hurns, Michael Gallup, Tavon Austin, kind of a running back now. Cole Beasley, I guess if you want some bye-week fillers, you can draft him. Allen Hurns is probably the best one out of the group that I would take.
But he's just a bye-week filler anyways. He's not going to get many targets because they're going to have to run the ball and then they'll fumble and Dallas is just a sweaty mess right now.
They really are. I mean, if you want to take a chance with Hearns and Michael Gallup maybe as bye-week fillers, then go for it. But after that, I'm not drafting them. And if I do, it's anywhere after the 12th round.
Yeah.
And tight end Rico Gathers, don't draft him.
No.
Maybe a streamer. Just watch him throughout the regular season and see how he does with his stats. I mean, Dak will definitely check down to him, but stay away from, other than Zeke, don't really worry about anyone on Dallas.
Yeah, I mean, Dan Bailey, if you need, like, a kicker in, like, the mid-last round, then I'd take Dan Bailey. I mean, they're going to get a lot of field goals this year.
Yeah, most people stream kickers too, so.
Yeah, I stream kickers. And
but if they're not going to
defenses.
score touchdowns, I guess you could get a lot of field goals out of them.
Yeah, that's true. And then moving on to the Redskins, Alex Smith as their starting quarterback. He's just going to be a streaming quarterback. I don't really see him as a starter on a week-to-week basis. So, I'm not going to start Alex Smith usually.
Yeah, I think last year was kind of fluky. He had a career year last year.
Mm-hmm.
He had some pretty good targets, but coming into the Washington Redskins, the targets are okay. But yeah, as I said, he's a streamer for me too.
Yeah. And then running backs, Darius Geis. He's really a solid flex or a solid bench. I would not put him as my number 2 just because he's a rookie and he's not experienced in the NFL, especially with an okay offensive line in the Redskins. I'm not going to put him as my number 2 running back.
See, I think that's where I disagree. I would put it, if I went, say, Le'Veon Bell, and then team Bell up with, like, say, Adam Thielen, and then on the flip get Aaron Rodgers. I could mess around a little bit, have a week number 2, but you better have a good solid first 3 rounds before you take them, and first 4 rounds before you take them in the 5th.
Yeah.
You really have to draft really well to have as a week number 2. But you're right, he is a solid flex and definitely a bye-week filler.
Yeah, he's good by week filler. Chris Thompson, the other running back there, got his job taken by Geis.
Most likely, that's what it's
Yeah.
looking like. If I'm the head coach in Washington, I'm putting Geis as my number 1.
Yeah, Chris Thompson, though, anywhere after the 9th round on your bench for a bye-week filler. And maybe try and trade him away just for the name, because I'm not really going to start him unless I like really need to. And I wouldn't suggest starting him anyways.
He blew up last year with the PPR points until he got hurt. So yeah, he's a good trade bait.
Yeah, definitely. Moving on to the wide receivers, Jamison Crowder, anywhere after the 5th round, as a flex. Just because Alex Smith coming off that a little fluky year, like you and me think, I'm only putting him as my flex. And then Josh Doxson, a flex / bye-week filler. I'm really not going to start any Washington receivers as my 1 or 2, just because Alex Smith is really unpredictable this year.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, between Crowder, Doxson, and Paul Richardson, you're really just taking bye-week fillers.
Definitely.
And anywhere, like you said, 5th, 8th, 12th round for Paul Richardson, it's really up in the air. I'm high on Josh Doxson. I like him a lot because he's kind of that underneath route type of guy. Get the first down, so you may get some PPR points there. For Crowder, you get some of those long balls and touchdowns. And Richardson's kind of just going to be sneaky. Maybe
like slip through the secondary type guy.
Yeah, he's going to be hit or miss like he was last year with Seattle. He broke it out like for 3 or 4 games and then he disappeared.
Yeah, definitely. And then moving on to Jordan Reed, he is just way too inconsistent for me. I am not drafting him this year. If you want to draft him, then anywhere after the 8th round as like a streaming tight end, because you're going to want to back up.
Yeah,
or like even on the free agency, you're going to want a couple guys just in case someone picks up a different guy.
Yeah, he's inconsistent because he's always injured.
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you want to take that chance again this year, go for it. But if you do, maybe take Vernon Davis, the backup, who Alex Smith will hit because he likes tight ends. But he can't stay healthy. I'm not taking Jordan Reed.
Definitely not.
Moving on to the New York Giants. probably the Super Bowl champions this year. So we're going to keep New York Giants, Eli Manning. Unfortunately, I don't think you should draft him. Maybe as do it.
I
as
don't
a
know.
streamer.
As a streamer, I'd be happy to have Manning on my team as a streamer. Definitely not as a starting number one.
Yeah, he's not a starter. He'd be a backup streamer. I'm actually in the middle of an article writing about Eli Manning and how I think he could end up as a quarterback one by the end of the season. I'm running the article for AcrossTheFantasyPond.com, so check those guys out. Awesome articles. They pump out daily and weekly. So, yeah, I think Eli Manning could end up as a quarterback one because listen to his targets. Saquon Barkley, OBJ, Sterling Shepard, Evan Ingram, a new offensive line, new head coach. What is there not to say about Eli Manning that he can't become a quarterback one this year? I mean,
Injuries. Did I mention injuries?
If everyone stays healthy, he can put up some big numbers.
If I really hope everyone stays healthy this year. I want them to win more than a very embarrassing 3 games.
Yeah, that was horrible last year. All right, so don't draft Eli, but keep an eye on him throughout for the whole season as a streamer for now. Rookie running back Saquon Barkley, take him in the first round. He's obviously a stud. He's an RB1 for now. Just be cautious. He is a rookie. He's getting a lot of hype.
I'm gonna be cautious this year about Barkley. I don't think I'm gonna draft him unless he falls to like the second round, which I know he won't. But if he does, take him obviously.
Yeah, any rookie I'm very cautious about, even with the big hype. And
with the big hype, I think that'll go to his head, and he'll be like, "Oh no, I have to perform this much."
Yeah,
and all that.
especially in New York.
Yeah.
And you got the backup, newly required Jonathan Stewart. He's just dead weight. Don't worry about drafting him.
Yeah, he's just draining their money supply basically.
Yeah, he's just a roster spot filler. Wide receiver OBJ, obviously Odell Beckham Jr. First round wide receiver 1. Take him anywhere. I've seen him falling anywhere from 8 to 12, so that's a good range for him. First round, definitely. Sterling Shepard coming back from another injury. Anywhere after the 7th round as a solid flex. He should be good for about 80 balls and maybe 6-7 touchdowns.
I really hope he scores a lot of touchdowns this year. He really has to make up last year. Same with OBJ.
Yeah, and then tight end Evan Ingram anywhere after the 4th round as a solid tight end 1. He won't match his rookie production last year because obviously he was the only target after all the injuries. But if he can catch half the balls that he dropped this year or last year, he will continue to be that number 1 tight end that you want out of your fourth round or later.
4th round. I think that for me that's kind of high for Evan Ingram.
It can be, and I know a lot of people wait on tight ends, but if you like tight ends and Gronk and Kelsey are gone, then
I really think he would fall to like the 6th, 7th round maybe.
Yeah.
So if you like waiting for tight ends, then I'd take Ingram.
That's true. That's true because
5th, 6th round.
Yeah, because you have Zach Ertz and Greg Olsen in there that people still like. So I think that's a good point, Eli. Probably 6th round would be a good spot to definitely wait unless you want to jump up and try to steal him. Get him in the 4th.
Definitely. Moving on to the NFC North, we have the Green Bay Packers. Aaron Rodgers coming back from that injury. He's going in the 4th round or later. He's not going to clear the 4th round, I don't think.
No, I've seen him go 3rd round, but yeah, you're right. If he gets past the 4th round, take him.
And if he gets past the 4th round, then you're probably going to win.
Exactly, you're right.
Fantasy league, but he's obviously a quarterback 1. Aaron Jones, he got suspended for
the drugs. Yeah, for drugs. Off 2 games.
He's a bye week filler now. You could put him as a week 2 after those 2 games. And then Ty Montgomery and Jamal Williams, just put them on your bench, stack them up there for those 2 games that Aaron Jones is going to be gone if you like handcuff running backs.
Yeah, the Packers running back situation is ugly this year. It's kind of like the Seattle Seahawks last year with Eddie Lacy and and all that crew, kind of like they have this year too. So I'm
Yeah.
personally going to stay away from any of the Packers running backs unless they have a clear-cut number one by the time week one comes around. But, I mean, I like Ty Montgomery because he can catch the ball the best because he was a former receiver.
Yeah, but he was such a bust last year. I really did not like it. I really thought he was going to do super good and have a blowout year, but
Yep.
he'll have to wait for this year, I guess.
Yeah. So maybe I guess Aaron Jones was the heavy favorite. But, again, I'm personally staying away from Packer running backs this year.
Yeah, definitely. Moving on to wide receivers, Devontae Adams. He's a wide receiver one for sure. He's going late first, early second round. He's just gonna be the only guy there that can catch the ball because you have Randall Cobb and Jimmy Graham. I mean, Jimmy Graham is gonna take away some of the targets, but I still think by the end of the year, Devontae Adams will be the number one target and will stay the number one target.
He definitely will, yeah. Yeah, you mentioned Randall Cobb. He's a solid flex anywhere after the 8th round. He's kind of creeping up a little bit because I think he's going to have a bounce back year this year now that Jordy Nelson's gone. So, and then you have Geronimo Allison, not really draft worthy. I just want to plug my article. I wrote about him on acrossthefantasypond.com. He's a deep sleeper for me this year. So watch him throughout the first couple of weeks of the season.
Definitely don't draft him,
No.
Watch him. And then Jimmy Graham, as we said earlier, 7th round for me is a steal for Jimmy Graham as a tight end one. That's really a big steal if you get him in the 7th round or later. He's probably going to fall in like the 6th round maybe, but try and get him in the 6th round, I'd say.
Yeah, he's coming in from Seattle. He's going to be stealing some red zone targets away from Cobb because that was Jordy Nelson's job. So he's going to definitely be doing the red zone targets. And Eli, actually, we're going to stop right here real quick because we do have a question on DraftingSleepers.com from Drink in Fortes. He asked Eli, "Do you believe in the Jimmy Graham hype, as in a solid tight end number one and going to Green Bay?"
I really do. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to be better for him because Aaron Rodgers really can't run. We saw that against the Vikings when he got injured. He's not going to run, and he's going to pass it to wide receivers and him all day. And I really think that Jimmy Graham will get like 7 touchdowns this year. He's going to get a lot of touchdowns.
I'm going to say 10 plus
10
for sure.
plus, yeah.
And you're right. You're exactly right. As soon as you said he has a better quarterback, Russell Wilson's, in my opinion,
pretty good.
He's pretty good, but he's a runner.
Yeah.
He can run. Where, like you said, Rodgers can, but he's more of a stay in the pocket, and I'm going to hit my target in the red zone. So Drinking Fortes, we believe in Jimmy Graham this year. Definitely draft him if that's your goal, and anywhere after the 7th would be best. Moving on to the Chicago Bears and second-year quarterback Mitchell Trubisky. He's a good streamer quarterback. I'm not going to really draft him. Unfortunately, John Fox held him back a little bit because it's his rookie year last year, but he's been fired since then. But just watch him for the first 4 or 5 weeks and then stream him and then maybe draft him as a number 1 quarterback next year. Running back Jordan Howard, I see him as a weak number 1, solid number 2 running back. Depends on who and where you draft. If you draft Le'Veon Bell or Derek Johnson or David Johnson, then have him as your number 1 or number 2 running back.
Yeah, that'd be a pretty sweet duo with the running backs there.
Yeah, and if so for me, I'm going to take him anywhere in the 3rd round. I think that's great value for him because if you go receiver, then he would be number 1 running back, which isn't too bad because you can still team him up with say Jay Ajayi or Darius Geis, and that would be a good combination. Tariq Cohen is your running back by committee handcuff. We don't really do handcuffs a whole lot anymore. People are starting to get away from that. So
I don't know. I'd take the Chicago Bears handcuff just because they have a better passing game. So defenses are going to go to zone more, and they're not going to really focus on the run. They're going to focus on guarding Allen Robinson and Taylor Gabriel and those guys, and Trey Burton and all those wide receivers there in Chicago.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, Treat Cohen definitely can catch the ball, so he's going to be like a Tevin Coleman out of Atlanta there. He's going to be that pass catching. And he proved it last year that he can still run the ball if Howard goes down. So, yeah, he's not a bad handcuff, but use him as a flex and a bye-week filler until Howard goes down. Moving on to Allen Robinson, as you said, he's the wide receiver number 1 in Chicago, but I think he'll end up as a wide receiver 2 by the end of the year. Anywhere after the second round is a great spot for him, and he's a weak number 1 or a solid 2. Depends on if you go running back, then he'd be your number 1. That'd be a good pickup. And then Taylor Gabriel and rookie Anthony Miller, anywhere after the 10th, 11th round. Put them on your benches, wait for some injuries or bye-week fillers. Just watch them throughout the season to see if you can plug them in someplace. And then newly acquired tight end Trey Burton. He'd be a solid tight end number 1 anywhere after the 9th round because he's not worth reaching up to the 5th and 6th rounds.
I don't know about the NFC North. It's going to be a really tough division because the Chicago Bears really upped their passing game. So now it's basically there's definitely going to be at least one wild card from the NFC North.
Oh, for sure.
It's just stacked with. I think the Lions will unfortunately be number 4. Then the Bears. Then I'm going to say Packers, and then Vikings.
Vikings coming in 1. Yeah. It's going to be this probably be the best year for the NFC North because of all the teams are pretty solid this year. And that hasn't happened in a very long time.
Yeah, definitely not. Moving on to the Vikings in the NFC North, quarterback Kirk Cousins. He's another streamer quarterback, just like Alex Smith. I mean, I'd be okay to start him as my number 1 a little bit, but I don't know. I like his targets, so he's probably just a streaming quarterback for me.
Yeah, I will disagree with you on that one. I would have him as my starting quarterback 1. I have him early rankings, like I said, back in May, June. He would be, I think I ranked him number 3 or 4 overall. So I like Kirk Cousins this year. He has great targets. He can sit in the pocket. He has a great offensive line. I personally would take him 6th round maybe if you want to reach a little bit. But 7th round is a good spot for him. But for me as a QB1, I'm starting him every week.
Yeah, okay. Dalvin Cook, he's going to be running back number 1. If you can get him in the 2nd round as your 2, then that's a steal. But he's not going out of early 2nd round.
No, if he falls in the 3rd, then definitely steal him then.
Yeah, definitely. Even if there's never mind. Antonio Brown's not going to be in the 3rd round.
No way.
That'd be messed up.
Yeah, if Antonio Brown's in the 3rd round, then you guys don't know how to draft.
Yeah.
And that's okay because we're here to teach you because, we want to help you draft better and draft Antonio Brown in the 1st round.
Yeah, in the first 3 picks. Moving on to the wide receivers, Stephon Diggs and Adam Thielen. They're both wide receiver 2s for me. I mean, Steph Diggs, I think he's going down a little with Adam Thielen there also. I think Kirk Cousins is going to look at Adam Thielen a bit more because they're going to put pressure on Stephon Diggs because he's the wide receiver number 1. But I still think Diggs is going to get at least 10 touchdowns. Both of them will get at least 10 touchdowns. And then they're both wide receiver 2s. Kyle Rudolph, anywhere in the 5th or 6th round, I'd say. Late 5th, early 6th. As a tight end 1, obviously, with Kirk Cousins throwing him the ball. He's all of the wide receivers there are going to blow up this year.
Yeah, if Kirk Cousins doesn't throw for 7,000 yards and 60 touchdowns, then something happened to me.
60?
I'm just joking. That'd be both records. But yeah,
by
Okay, let me ask you this question: Eli Manning or Kirk Cousins targets? Who do you like better?
Targets? Yeah. Kirk Cousins.
You like Kirk Cousins? See,
I like Eli Manning better than Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
I think Eli Manning just he knows his receivers more because Kirk Cousins coming in to Minnesota, not knowing anyone there, basically, like wide receiving core at least.
True.
He's not gonna know like how fast they are and all that.
Yeah,
so.
that's what training. Yeah, the time and everything. But yeah, I mean, think about it. Kirk Cousins has awesome weapons. He's ranked as a top 10 quarterback this year. Eli Manning has awesome weapons, but he's not ranked as a top 10. I don't get it. Where's the love for Eli Manning, guys? Come on. That's why I'm pushing Eli Manning really hard, but I'm also trying to keep him on the down low so I can steal him.
Yeah, now that you just said that, everyone's
going to steal it.
Just going to
They're going to steal him. All right, moving on to the NFC South. The Saints from New Orleans, Drew Brees, quarterback number 1 anywhere after the 6th round would be great. Alvin Kamara is your first round running back. He's an RB1, so steal him. Or don't steal him, but get him in the first round. Usually anywhere from the 6th to 8th pick I've seen him. Maybe 9th pick falls a little bit. Mark Ingram is suspended the first 4 weeks, as we talked about a couple weeks ago. For me, he's getting drafted a little too high, but I've seen him in the 4th round, which to me that's really, really high. So I'm going to back off a little bit and wait for the 6th or 7th round. He's a solid number 2 running back. But pick him up as a bye-week filler, though. Steal him, because a lot of people are going to be afraid of those four week suspensions, or the suspension 4 weeks.
I don't know. I think people are still going to be high on him just because they're all going to be like, oh, it's only 2 weeks, so I'll just take him as my. Oh yeah, 4 weeks. That's 2 weeks. Is Aaron Jones.
Yeah, and then he comes back week 5. He comes back week 5. And then they have a bye week 6. So he may not even play all of week 5. So you're going to be waiting until week 7. So pick him up as your 3rd or 4th running back if you can get him.
Yeah, definitely.
Wide receiver Michael Thomas. He's obviously a first-round draft pick. He's a solid number 1 wide receiver, so we can keep going on him. Ted Ginn and Cameron Meredith. They are definitely deep benches, bye-week fillers. Anywhere after the 10th, 11th round would be great for them. That means they're going to see some targets because I think Drew Brees is going to be passing more this year compared to last year, especially the first 4 games. And then tight end Benjamin Watson's coming back to New Orleans after leaving the Baltimore Ravens. I'm not drafting him. Just keep an eye on him for... Oh, yeah. Keep an eye on for him throughout the season, though, as a streamer, possibly. Eli just told me that we skipped the Lions out of the NFC North. I got excited about Drew Brees. So, Eli, going back to the NFC North, take it away with the Lions.
All right, so Matthew Stafford, their starting quarterback. He's going to be a starting quarterback on your roster because he is going to blow up this year. I'm really hyped up about Matthew Stafford this year. I really think he's going to do amazing this year. He's got Kenny Golladay coming in, and Golden Tate, Marvin Jones again, and then tight ends. Tight ends aren't really good anymore since Eric Ebron is gone. But I still think Matt Stafford's going to have a way better year than last year.
Yeah, he has potential. I mean, Golden Tate and Marvin Jones are excellent targets. They're both solid number 2 receivers, flexes for sure. Kenny Golladay, he's kind of one of those bye-week filler type of guys. He's hit or miss. He's still kind of streaky.
Definitely.
You skipped the running backs.
No, I didn't.
You talked about...
I was talking about his targets.
I see. I'm sorry. So go back to the running backs. My bad.
Running backs, Kerryon Johnson, the rookie. I really like this kid. I think it was a good choice. He's going to be a bye-week filler for me. I mean, you can start him as your flex, but he's not really a starter on a weekly basis. He's just going to be a bye-week filler for me.
Until he proves it. I mean, if he's breaking off 200 yards and 3 touchdown games every week, then get him in your starting lineup. But you're right. He's a bye-week filler. Keep him on your bench and wait.
Yeah, definitely. And then they have 3 other running backs, Amir Abdullah, LeGarrette Blount, Theo Riddick. If you're going to draft any of these guys, which I wouldn't, but if you are, then they're just going to be bye-week fillers. I mean, LeGarrette Blount, you might want to start, play the matchup if you have, someone else.
He's going to get some goal line touches. If he even makes a team, they may just cut him.
Yeah.
And then we already...
Yeah,
I mean, we talked about the receivers, Tate Jones, and then Luke Wilson. Don't even worry about drafting him.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure he's a rookie, right?
No, he came out of, I think, Seattle.
Oh, I don't know.
No one's ever heard of him. Yeah. I mean, unless you play deep leagues. All right, can we go back to the NFC South now?
Mm-hmm.
All right, the Carolina Panthers, Cam Newton, 7th round, quarterback 1. Definitely get him as your quarterback starting, number 1, every week. He can run, so that's going to give you some fantasy points, rushing yards, and rushing touchdowns. If he could throw to himself, that would be better because his targets are going to not be the best this year. Wide receiver Devin Funchess and rookie DJ Moore. Anywhere after the 9th round, flex them by week fillers if you have to. I like DJ Moore this year.
Yeah, we're on the DJ Moore train. He's gonna be really good this year.
Yeah, I think give him one more year to give him that really good comment. But yeah, he's gonna be good. Running backs Christian McCaffrey, late 2nd, early 3rd round as your 2nd running back. He is a PPR machine. He would be a great running back to get your rushing yards, but unfortunately they signed C.J. Anderson. And he would be a bye-week filler, deep bench type of running back anywhere up to the 10th round. He's going to steal the goal lines. McCaffrey's going to be running between the 20s, and C.J. Anderson's going to be in the red zone.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I wish they didn't sign C.J. Anderson and sign like LeGarrette Blount or something like that, because then Christian McCaffrey would get way more touches. But since they signed a better guy like C.J. Anderson.
And he's better than Jonathan Stewart, too.
Yeah.
And then, obviously, tight end Greg Olsen. He's a tight end 1 for you. Get him anywhere after the 5th round. I'm going to bump him to the 5th round. Depends on how you draft.
Yeah, he's going to go early, I'm pretty sure.
Yep, he's back healthy, ready to go with Cam Newton.
Yeah, definitely. Starting quarterback for the Buccaneers, Jameis Winston. I would draft him as probably my number 1 quarterback, but he got suspended for 3 games, so now I can't do that. He's going to be a streaming quarterback. I wouldn't even touch Ryan Fitzpatrick right now, but if you want to pick him up from the free agency, then I'd do it, but only as a bye-week filler if you really need him. Moving on to the running backs, the rookie Ronald Jones III. He's really a flex bye-week filler. I'm not drafting him before the 10th round. I just don't trust him with that backfield and the mixed-up backfield in Tampa Bay. Peyton Barber, I'm not going to draft. It seems like everyone loves Peyton Barber this year. I really don't trust him. I'm pretty sure this is the first year he's gotten hype like this. I'm not gonna go touch him anywhere near here. Moving on to wide receivers, Mike Evans, obviously first round as a late first round, early second as your wide receiver 1. If you can get him on the flip as a wide receiver 2, team him up with like a Michael Thomas type guy, that'd be a pretty awesome receiving core.
Yeah, and a lot of people are thinking that, because Jameis Winston isn't going to be there first 3 games, that his targets and production will go down. It won't. He actually did really well with Ryan Fitzpatrick, so don't be scared of Mike Evans. He may be bumped down around or later in the 2nd round because of that, but take him then because everyone's skipping at him. Take him. Team him up with that Odell Beckham Jr. pick in the mid rounds. Going back to Ronald Jones. I love him this year. I mean, he's kind of like my Darius Geis.
Yeah.
Darius Geis. He's a weak number 2 for me, but I'm definitely going to try to get one of those 2 running backs this year. I love him.
Yeah, him. Not Kenny Galladay. Him.
Kerryon
Johnson, and wow,
Geis?
you just said it. Yeah, Geis. Wow, brain fart.
Nah.
I'm gonna try to get at least one of those guys. If I can get 2 of those guys, I will be really happy.
Yeah,
I really want one of those 3 guys.
Yep.
I just think they're gonna produce so much. I mean, not as much as Barkley, but they're going to produce. Moving on, going back to the wide receivers, Deshaun Jackson. He's going to be a flex for me. He's a strong flex, actually, I think. Because once those 3 weeks are done, Jameis Winston's going to be back. He's going to be throwing bombs to Deshaun Jackson and Mike Evans. And so I really think him and Mike Evans are going to have good years this year. And Chris Goodwin, I'm not really going to touch him. I don't know. He's got two really good receivers in front of him, and he's just not going to produce, I don't think.
Maybe a bye week filler.
Bye week filler.
Until
if
Deshaun
anything.
Jackson retires, he's no more than a bye week filler. Unless you play like best ball and hit some of those big streaks down the middle and touchdowns.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, coming up, Eli's going to be talking about the tight ends. Now, this is where the tight ends are going to take a hit because of Winston's being suspended. Fitzpatrick doesn't really target tight ends, so maybe be cautious of Cameron Brate and O.J. Howard.
Yeah, definitely. Cameron Brate, both of them actually, anywhere after the 10th round for me, just because of Winston's suspension. And they're going to be streamers. I mean, if you can draft both of them, that'd be okay for me. I mean, don't draft another tight end, like a starting tight end. But if you can draft both of them, then I'd be fine with that. Because you can just stream them. You can't play the matchup because they're on the same team.
Yeah, right.
Just see their production throughout the year and
if you want to,
go with your gut, I guess, with that because they're basically the same guy. I mean, Brate is a little older and more experienced than OJ, but I think OJ with the younger legs is gonna produce more a little bit.
Yeah, OJ is definitely good for dynasty leagues. Moving on to the Atlanta Falcons, quarterback Matt Ryan. He's a week number one streamer type of quarterback for me. I have drafted him in a couple mock drafts in the 15th round, or my last pick. It was the rest of my team was awesome, so why not just pick up the best quarterback available? But anywhere after the 9th, 10th round, if you draft quarterbacks late, he's a good streamer quarterback.
I don't know. I'm like the opposite on Matt Ryan. I think he's a solid number one quarterback. He's got the targets in Julio Jones and Mohamed Sanu and Austin Hooper too. I mean, he's got like 0 fantasy worth, but I think in real life he's going to do really well.
Hooper?
Yeah, Hooper.
Okay, yeah.
But same with Matt Ryan. Both.
All right, so who would you take, Matt Ryan, Eli Manning, or Kirk Cousins?
Probably Cousins, then Ryan, then Manning.
Okay. Yeah, that's not bad. I'd go Cousins, Manning, Ryan. But
yeah.
All right, running backs, Devontae Freeman. He's a solid number 2, week number 1 running back, solid number 2. It depends on how you draft again. If you team him up with Bell, he's a solid number 2. If you go receiver, then he's a week number 1 for you. Anywhere after the mid-second, late third round is a good spot for him. Pick up Tevin Coleman if you want some PPR points after the 7th round. He is he's a week number 2 running back and a solid flex. Julio Jones, obviously he's your number 1 wide receiver. Anywhere in the first round would be great. Mohamed Sanu and rookie Calvin Ridley. Anywhere after the 9th round as 10th round bye week fillers. Unless you continue to watch them throughout the year, maybe trade for Ridley if you're in a dynasty league. He's a great pickup. Mm-hmm. And as we said, Austin Hooper, he's a streamer. You're not going to draft him. He had one big play last year, and that was about it. And Eli, I think we're done with the South, so let's move on to the NFC West and
I completely forgot we had the NFC West.
and the Los Angeles Rams.
Okay, the Rams. They're going to have just about the same exact year they had last year, I think. Maybe even better. They're going to have a good year this year. Jared Goff, he's, again, just a streaming quarterback. Not too much on him. I mean, I'm going to draft him after probably the 10th round. If you like drafting backup quarterbacks, then he's your guy. Todd Gurley, obviously first round, top 5 pick.
A lot of people are taking him number 1, number 2, but I've seen him go after. I've seen him go as the 4th running back. So yeah, top 5.
Yeah, definitely. And then moving on to the wide receiving core, Brandon Cooks is a week 1 strong 2 as your starting wide receivers. He's just going to get so many targets because he's like the only receiver there.
I don't know about that.
He's the biggest receiver there.
Yeah, I don't know. I really like the next guy you're going to talk about better.
Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp, both of them after the 7th round as a flex. I mean, you can switch them out. I mean, look at their production, but I mean, really just flip a coin for them. I think they're both gonna get just right around the same amount of fantasy points this year.
Yeah, I think you're probably right with that. I like Robert Woods a lot more because he was pretty much the go-to guy last year in Los Angeles. And Sammy Watkins was there, but he wasn't used to the system and used to Jared Goff. Jared Goff now has another year with Woods and Kupp. Kupp, I believe, led the league in red zone targets last year.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. So if you want some PPR points and touchdowns, pick up Kupp.
Well, that doesn't mean he caught all of them.
That doesn't mean he caught them all, but that means
brought him in for touchdowns.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean he can find the red zone. He just has to get the ball to him.
Yeah.
So I would go Woods, Kupp, Cooks. And as far as tight ends, don't worry about tight ends in Los Angeles.
Well, I mean, Chargers, Hunter Henry, but
Yeah, but that's
the Los Angeles Rams.
But even then, he's out for the year, ACL.
Oh yeah, that's
All right,
right.
Seattle Seahawks. Russell Wilson. He is a number one quarterback. Anywhere after the 4th round is due.
He could be a running back realistically.
Yeah, right.
I mean,
I honestly don't like him this year. He doesn't have any wide receivers other than like Doug Baldwin. But I mean, there's no running backs. The offensive line is horrible. So it's going to be him running the ball about 20 times a game. And I just don't see the production that he's been getting in the last couple of years because, yeah, they signed Brandon Marshall. They have Tyler Lockett, we'll get to. But I don't see the production he's gonna get this year because they lost Jimmy Graham. They lost Paul Richardson.
They still have Doug Baldwin.
Yeah, Doug Baldwin. All right, we'll get to him.
Okay.
So Russell Wilson, he could be he'll probably finish top 10, but I just don't like him this year. Rookie running back Rashard Penny. Thanks. Again, he's a rookie, so be cautious. He could be a week number 2 bye-week filler for you. Just keep an eye out. But again, Seattle, they have a huge running back mess up there with Chris Carson and CJ Prosise. However, I'm not drafting either one of those guys. Penny's probably the guy you want. Again, wide receivers, Doug Baldwin. He's a solid number 2 if you draft him. I will and never ever draft Doug Baldwin, and we know why because he's never for this first 6-7 years.
You were super hyped. The first year he came, you were super hyped about him. The first year he started producing, you were like, I love Doug Baldwin. I want to trade for him. I love him. I want him on my team. And then the next year you're like, nope.
No, because I didn't believe the hype. So because the years before he was so inconsistent, but now he's slowly starting to convince me. But I still don't want him. But you can get.
I don't know, guys. I don't know what to do to change his mind.
Produce this year, and we'll start talking. All right. So again, Doug Baldwin after the 4th round, solid 2. Tyler Lockett after the 10th round, he's a flex bye-week filler. Brandon Marshall, I'm really not going to touch him. He's too old. Maybe bye-week filler, keep him on a deep bench, just red zone targets. And tight end Ed Dixon, don't even worry about. Maybe a streamer. Just keep an eye on him.
Maybe. I don't even know. Moving on to the 49ers and Jimmy Garoppolo. I'm pretty excited about Jimmy Garoppolo this year. But anywhere after the 8th round as a quarterback streamer, he's just not really going to be a number 1 quarterback in fantasy this year just because of his targets, I think.
Yeah, and here's the thing again, guys. His average draft position is the 4th to 5th round.
That's just crazy.
Too high. That's why we're saying
way too high.
Take him after the 8th or 9th round when you draft later quarterbacks.
I mean, I believe in the hype, but not that much. That's way too early.
So yeah, just that's our recommendation. I mean, if you want to jump on that hype train, go for it. But you're gonna be wasting a pick in the 5th or 6th round.
Yeah, definitely. Then the running back Jerick McKinnon, 5th round as a wide receiver 2, maybe even a flex. But yeah, he's not really gonna produce much to me this year.
Yeah,
Just because of Jimmy Garoppolo again.
Yeah, and again, he's one of those guys. He's going late second, early third. Which, if you want to waste a pick, go for it. Because last year he split carries with Latavius Murray in Minnesota. He hasn't proven he can carry a full load, and now he's also going to be splitting some time with Matt Breida, who has the system under control because he was there last year.
Who's that?
He's
Matt Breida?
Well, he was the backup to Carlos Hyde last year, but
who went to the Dolphins.
Carlos Hyde went to the Browns.
Oh, that was Frank Gore.
Yeah,
Sorry,
Frank Gore.
guys.
No, it's all right. But he was also on the Colts last year. But anyways, so back to Breida and McKinnon. McKinnon, show me this year, and then I can jump on McKinnon. I think he's good. Just show me what you can do this year.
And then the wide receivers, Marquise Goodwin and Pierre Garçon. They're both really flexes to me. I mean, they got a good quarterback. If they had who was the other quarterback there before Jimmy G came in? I forgot. But anyway, if they had him, then they'd be like benches to me. But since they have Jimmy G, I think they got upped to a flex this year because of the quarterback situation.
If you put them on Seattle with Russell Wilson, they'd be great. But because it's Jimmy G and he doesn't have enough. He played 5 games last year. How can you say?
But he won all 5 of them.
Yeah, but they played 3 defenses that were out of the playoffs. One defense was resting starters, and the other defense made the playoffs, so they didn't really care. So how's that any type of production? You know,
They still won the games.
Yeah,
I mean,
you
the
still- yeah,
Browns
true.
lost
True.
the games. The Browns lost against the Steelers when Landry Jones was their starting quarterback.
True. Tight end.
Yeah, definitely. George Kittle, he's just a bye-week filler for me. I'm probably not even going to draft him just because of his skill, I guess. I mean,
Yeah, a lot of people are starting to like him because he may be a check down for Jimmy G, but he's going to be hit or miss.
yeah,
All
definitely.
right, moving on to the last team, Cardinals from Arizona, Sam Bradford and Josh Rosen. They're not draftable. They're stream them both. If Josh Rosen gets in, they're both going to be streamers. Rosen's good for Dynasty because he is a rookie. Running back David Johnson, solid number 1. He's coming back from the hand injury, so he'll be ready to go. Fresh legs. Anywhere in the first 4 to 5 picks, take him. Old man Larry Fitzgerald. He is a weak number 2 solid flex. Anywhere.
He's still going strong. I'm really surprised that he's still in the NFL and producing. I mean, like,
Especially with no quarterbacks.
he's like yeah, exactly. He's like a Tom Brady type guy. He has like no one around him, like a quarterback wise.
Yeah.
And he's like producing at like his age.
I mean, he had Kurt Warner for a couple years, and he had Carson Palmer, but I mean, come on, both of them were super old and.
I mean, Kurt Warner was okay, but again, he was super old, so.
Yeah. All right, so, Larry Fitzgerald, anywhere after the 4th, 5th round. Rookie Christian Kirk, I'm not drafting him unless I'm in a Dynasty League. And then finally, wrapping up tight ends, Ricky Seals-Jones. He's a streamer unless he can prove otherwise. So, stream him, don't draft him. And woo! That went a little longer than I wanted to, Eli, but now that we're out of the preview, we're going to get to some mock drafts next week.
And that will take like that. It won't take that long.
And then we'll do our rankings come at end of July. We'll start our rankings, quarterbacks, receivers, tight ends, running backs, and then do some more mock drafts, wrap up the the preseason, and get into the regular season.
Yeah, this year is going to be really exciting, guys. I can't wait.
Yeah, and again, thank you for listening. You can find us on Twitter at Tyler Belawski, TylerBelawske, draftandsleepers.com. Look us up there. It's an amazing website. Continue to ask us questions on both. We love it. And Eli, again, thank you so much for Gabe Gearing for making our intro song. It's awesome. We got some t-shirts made up. I'm going to post them later this week. If you want to buy some, let us know, and we'll get you all the information for you next podcast. Any final thoughts, Eli?
Not really.
Again, back-to-back, no final thoughts.
Well, not back-to-back weeks, because last week we didn't have one, so.
You're right, back-to-back
Yeah,
podcast.
definitely.
All right, I will have a final thought. We'll see you next week with a mock draft. I'm Tyler Brolowski.
I'm Eli Belowski.
And-
And actually, it won't be next week. It will be this week.
Yes, you're correct. Final thought, correct. All right.
There's my final thought.
All right. Again, I'm Tyler Brolowski.
I'm Eli Belowski.
And this has been the Tyler and Eli Fantasy Football Tips Podcast. And we are out.
Peace.